Hello, hello, hello. Yes, we are on location for the Good Water Tour. This is the Dallas stop here at Soiree Coffee Bar. Yes, located in the heart of Dallas, downtown Dallas. So we are here. It has been great. We are with 1186 Real Artesian Water. The CEO is here, none other than Mr. Marquise Forge. I tell you, y'all, it's a great story. We got to dive into it. You're going to enjoy it. Just wait. We're at the Dallas stop of the Good Water Tour. We're here at Soiree Coffee Bar here in Dallas, Texas. And let's just talk a little bit about you and the water, your water company, this ultra premium water.
Ultra premium.
Ultra premium.
Ultra premium. Yes. Yes. So first and foremost, thank you. And before that, I just want to give all the glory and honor to God.
Amen.
I'm just a tool in the shed that's being used right now.
Amen.
CEO and founder really doesn't mean anything to us, because if it comes to that we have to do anything that needs to be done, my partners and I and the team members back at 1186 Real Artesian Water will do it all. This is the 1186 Real Artesian Water Good Water Tour, and we are here in Dallas, and we are more than happy to be here because this wonderful establishment right here that is so beautifully done is another example of Black excellency. And only that, they support us from the beginning.
Awesome.
We've been here ever since the doors have been open. And I just want to take my hat off to the owners, Mr. Clyde and his wife. I just want to tell them thank you for supporting 1186 and all that we do. With that being said, what can I say?
So before we even get more into the water, let's just find out a little bit about you, Mr. Forge. You know, tell us a little bit about your background. Let's start off with your schooling. I've read so many wonderful things about you. Let's start with how you graduating valedictorian.
So I come from a small town in Alabama, central Alabama. A lot of people think people in Alabama still wearing overalls and riding horses. That's not the case. That's not the case. We want to erase that stigma about us.
Right.
I graduated valedictorian on my class, a very small town. Had the opportunity to go to the University of Alabama.
Awesome.
On an academic scholarship, not an athletic scholarship, but an academic scholarship.
Awesome.
I also had the opportunity to walk on and play football at the University of Alabama all 4 years that I was there.
Wow.
One of the things that stuck out to me was when I was growing up in this small town, I always told people, I said, you know, there's so many legends are born in this small town. Mm-hmm. Like any other Black community, we want to find a way out. And when we find our way out, we're not coming back. We're not coming back.
Right.
I'm out of here. And so many legends have been born. And I made a very candid speech. And the speech was, if I ever be somebody one day, no matter how big or how small, I'm coming back home.
Awesome.
In 2015, me being who I am, God called on me, and I was led back home. My mother still stayed there along with my brothers and sisters, my whole family. They still stay in this incorporated town, less than 1,100 people.
Wow.
I found myself back at home, and about 6 months later, I found myself in the water bottling business. I do not know anything about water. Even to this day, I give all the glory and all the thanks to what God have shown me. I am not a water guy. By trade, I'm an engineer. I've been an engineer in the automotive industry since 1997.
Wow.
You want to talk about cars? We can talk about cars all day.
So let's just talk about this. Let's talk about how did you get into, like, you're not a water guy, but
No.
how did you end up with this beautiful ultra premium water?
So by me giving God my undivided attention,
Amen.
giving him, see, that's what it is.
Yes.
A lot of us have so many educational degrees on the walls.
Right.
We have so many BS degrees. We have so many PH degrees that we become our own God. We become our own God. We know what to do.
Right.
But when you let God be your professor, when you let him be your doctor, when you let him be your lawyer,
That's good.
when you let him guide and lead you in all that you do, he will let you know what to do. So here it is. I'm back in Otagoville. That's the name of the town. Otagoville, Alabama, a small country town. Mm-hmm. I'm back in that town, and the Lord is guiding and directing me, telling me who to go see. And I'm like, okay, I did what I needed to do. I think I did my work. Now let me go back and do my engineering work. That's what I was thinking to myself.
Right.
But lo and behold, God said, I got a greater work for you. And that's what he's saying to all of us.
Absolutely.
Isn't that what he's saying to all of us?
Absolutely. I just want to say to our listening audience and those who will view this later that when the Lord is tugging on you and he's redirecting you, stop for a moment and yield to his voice, yield to his direction. Even when you don't know and you can't see it, when the Lord is directing you away, please know that it's bigger than what we think, because here we are.
Bigger, much bigger.
Much, much bigger.
Much bigger. So let me show you how big this is. The person that the Lord led me to was the mayor of the town,
Awesome.
the ex-mayor of the town, and he was also the principal of the high school when I went to. And I went to him, and I'm listening to him. I don't even know why I'm at his house. And he's just talking to me. He's pouring his heart out to me about the condition that the town was in. And I was like, why I'm here? Why am I here, Lord?
Right.
I'm still asking the question, why am I here, Lord? And then it happened. He said, we need some help. And I said, that's it. And I asked the gentleman, his name was Mr. Wood. I said, Mr. Wood, what can I do for the town? And I kid you not, he looks at me and smiled and said, you can run a water bottling plant.
Wow.
And I'm like, no, Mr. Wood. I said, I want to donate some money maybe. He said, no, you can run a water bottling plant. And I said, what are you talking about? He says, you. He said, get in my truck. We drive across town 2 or 3 minutes, and he shows me this very small outfit, which is a hobby. It is about a 1,200, 1,500 square foot building that a gentleman was trying to bottle water out of and trying to sell.
Wow.
And the gentleman was an older gentleman, and he had been involved in an almost fatal accident. And he was paralyzed from the neck down. And the gentleman was trying to do something, but he was, I only said 2 latter in years, just didn't have, the mind, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, he said, you need to run this. And I said, no, I'm good. I'm making 6 figures. My wife and I are traveling. We just built my mother a house. God, this ain't for me.
Wow.
That's what I said.
Wow.
But
Isn't it something that oftentimes God is putting that thing right in front of us, that thing that he's ordained us to do, the thing that's going to take our finances, our mind, and our life to the next level, and we're like, nah, that's not for me. But if we just take a moment and yield to it.
So something happened. This mayor, my old principal at the time, when I was in high school, he did something for me that I never forget. I was a Beta Club president, and I had to go on a Beta Club trip. And my family and I, we couldn't afford a suit. This gentleman bought me my first suit. Okay. He lent me the money. He said, don't worry about paying me back. I'll get it back from you later. Okay. He gave me the money to go buy a suit. And after I told him that, hey, I'm not interested in this, he did this, and I couldn't believe it. He said, you remember that suit I bought you in high school? He said, now I need for you to look into this for me.
Wow.
And I'll go, okay, you got me. And the next day, he called me and said, hey, here go the gentleman's number. I want you to call him. Next thing you know, 6 months later, the gentleman and I, we were working on different agreements. The agreement didn't go through. I looked foolish. I had got all these people involved. We liquefied all our money. Wow. And the gentleman gave us this crazy price. He was like, oh, you interested in? We want millions of dollars. I was like, I can buy the whole town. And he was like, that's what I want. And with that being said, he told me, he said, if you think you're smart enough, build one.
Wow, that's really all it took.
Yeah, he said, if you think you're smart enough, build one.
So what did that process look like? So after that, that's kind of like the challenge. Oftentimes when people tell us that we can't, especially our heritage, we're like determined to prove, yes, we can, yes, I can do it. And it's like the fuel behind our fire, right? So like how did you get from there to $1 million, you can't do it, to where we are sitting now?
Y'all might not believe this, but I'm gonna speak the truth. You take it for what you want. I called my partners up and I said, listen guys, God has given us a manuscript. I had 4 binders in my office, my home office. Over the past 4 to 6 months, I had been collecting information. God had been taking me places, showing me different things, and I had been collecting. And I was in my office one night. I was studying and I was praying, and I was upset really because I had talked to all these people about what we was gonna do. We're gonna revitalize the town. We're gonna be heroes.
Right.
And they was all gun-ho, and I was like, now, I'm not smart enough. I'm not smart enough, so now I make myself look foolish. And I kid you not, you can ask my wife is here. Those 4 binders lit up. They lit up, and I was like, what's going on? So I pulled the binders out, and I started flipping through them. 4-inch binders, 4 of them. I flipped through them. The next day, I called my partner, and I said, we're gonna build a water plant. And they said, oh, Marquise, what are you talking about? We never did this before. I said, we have the manuscript. God has given us the manuscript. Awesome. Go with me. Don't go with me, go with him.
Wow.
And they was like, okay, so what you want us to do? I said, I need for you to liquefy everything.
Wow.
Listen to this. My partner, I said, I need for you to liquefy everything. When I say everything, him and his wife had been in the military, retired from the Air Force. They was living in a $600,000 house in North Alabama. They sold it. Wow. They sold it and gave me the checks for the proceeds. They sold it. And they moved into an apartment. They moved into a rental house 15 minutes from the plant so they can be close.
Wow.
They still stay in a rental. That was 3-4 years ago.
Wow.
My other partner, his wife had passed a year earlier, left him a policy. I said, I need for you to liquefy it. He wired hundreds of thousands of dollars, and he said, Marquise, this is my whole life.
Oh my goodness.
This is my whole life. My wife and I told her, I said, listen, we got to sell everything.
Wow.
We got to liquefy everything. Everything. We all got to be in this together. We got to liquefy everything. My partner's sister is a doctor in Connecticut. She just had sold a medical practice. He called her up and said, hey, we need your money. And she said, for what? He said, come to Alabama, I'm gonna show you. She flew down from Connecticut. When she left, she wrote me a check out.
Wow.
She said, this is my life. This is my life. We didn't have a bank. We didn't have a bank. We went to banks. We got turned down by 18 banks.
Wow.
We put our own money, our own family. We was almost destroyed internally because people was like, this field of dreams you built, you gave this big-headed dumb guy all this money, and we have nothing. What do we do?
So at this point, now you have the funds that are coming in, but there's still no production, right, of the water.
Not only is there no production, we raised about $1 million of our own money, but it wasn't enough. In 2017, we went broke.
Wow.
We had paid for the land, we had dug the well, we made the foundation, we cleared the land, we built the foundation, we erected the building. And during that time, I'm going from bank to bank, asking for a loan, saying, hey, we need to buy equipment, we need to do this.
Right.
And in 2017, March of 2017, I spent the last $100.
Wow.
I spent the last $100. And everything that we had worked towards was sitting in the field. And people would ride by and laugh. He ain't using it in the sense he got from the University of Alabama. They laughed. And we waited patiently.
Amen.
June of 2017, we had a uprising in the government in Alabama. We had a governor switch. And the governor that we have now came online and said that she wanted to uprise and incorporate small towns.
Okay.
And she said that her first duty was to help the small town of Otagoville bring a water plant online.
Wow.
By giving them sewer and water to their facility.
Wow.
Because where we were, we didn't have water nor sewer to run that plant. We was going to have to pay for it ourselves. That was part of the deal.
Right.
It's going to be like $250,000. But they gave us a block grant to bring water to our facility. And by her doing that, everybody was like, so it's going to be a water plant. And we got calls. My brother, I'm going to talk about that. For my brother even called me and said, hey, you still looking for a bank? I said, yeah, I'm on 19. I'm on 18 right now. And he said, I may have a bank that may be interested.
Awesome.
And we went to the bank, gave the story, and the guy was like, we're not in water business. They came out the next day and they looked at the facility. On October the 27th, we closed the deal on a loan to finish the building,
Awesome.
to buy equipment,
That's awesome.
buy raw materials, and that was it. They said, we're not giving you no money for marketing. You got half of your money in it, half our money in it. If you want this to work, go out there and hit the streets. Go out there and grind.
Right, because I'm thinking marketing and production, like you still need manpower, right?
No, we had to do all that on our own.
Okay.
So family, they know how to run the machine. They know how to run the machine. We have label bottles. We know how to blow bottles. We have been to China. We bought the equipment from China in 2017. We was actually one of the very first black companies to walk into the same facility where they make the machine from scratch.
Wow.
And when we walked in, the people were looking around like, where they come from?
Right. So let's talk about that a little bit. So when it comes to the water, I did read that it's bottled at the same place. So let's kind of fast forward and talk about this production. You blowing your own bottles, right?
Yes.
You're filling the waters on site there.
Yes.
So how did that come to fruition? How did, like, what was, how, like, it's like a movie. We can see the scenes, right?
Yes.
So what happened next? We're at scene 3.
Scene 3. You know, God says time.
Amen.
It's time to showcase to the world.
Amen.
I know you're going through some trials and tribulations, but I'm gonna show you what growth looked like.
That's awesome.
So in 2018, we didn't even have a distributor.
Wow.
No distributor. My marketing team said, how are we gonna distribute the water? I said, we're gonna rent a U-Haul truck. I said, that's all I know. I said, we can rent a U-Haul truck and go around from place to place, dropping water off. They said, Marquise, the machine made 14,400 bottles an hour. How you gonna drop off that much water?
Wow.
I said, I don't know, we'll figure it out. So in March, Chrissy Carbone, which is part of our marketing team, and John Harris, which is a part of our sales group, they went out and petitioned to Budweiser in Alabama. Wow. Budweiser was like, you guys ain't big enough for us. They said, come and visit us. And in March of 2018, they came out and visited us. 5 different Budweiser distributors in Alabama. They came out and visited us, and they could not believe their eyes that we had constructed a 22,500 square foot state-of-the-art building that can produce 14,400 bottles per hour.
Wow.
Budweiser said, what in the world are you gonna do with that much water? I said, we're waiting for your trucks to come and pick it up.
Absolutely.
That was the question. They were like, what you gonna do with that much water?
Right.
I said, we're waiting for your truck and them Clydesdales come and pick it up.
So let's talk about that a little bit, because you started off talking about the Soiree coffee bar being like pioneering, saying yes, you can put our product here. Like, how did that work? How did it? I'm interested in seeing the steps of how I can now walk in and.
So let's go back. Let's go back to that Budweiser. So Budweiser, they began to solidify our resume.
Okay.
They solidified our resume. They got behind us and they said, have you talked to anybody else in Alabama? We said no. They said, out of the 13 Budweiser distributors, we'll take all of it.
Wow.
So they gave us distribution across Alabama. Here's the thing about Budweiser. They began to teach us how to be distributors. We began to learn how to be distributors, how to go out and sell the product. We would go out with them. They would do all the marketing for us. They'll do all the static cleans. They did all the banners. They said, we're gonna do that for free because we believe in the product. And all of a sudden, in 2018, we sell 632,000 bottles. That sounds like a lot of water, but in actuality, it's not. when you're making 14,400 an hour.
Wow.
So our plant is so big that we need about 700,000 a month just to pay the power bill, just to pay the overhead every month. We need 700,000 bottles a month.
Wow.
We only made 632,000 in 18, but God held our hands through this trial and tribulation.
Amen.
2019, we sell 2.5 million.
Woo.
2020, during a pandemic, we sell 7.2 million.
Progressing through the pandemic.
January of 2021 to August of 2021, we sell 9.2 million bottles.
Wow.
That is in direct relationship to that we took the knowledge that we got from Budweiser
Yes.
and shared it with our people that's on the outside of the state of Alabama to help them become distributors. You want to be a distributor? You got the resources. You got to grind. You got to listen to the blueprint. You got to go out and sell the product. You got to go out and find people like Mr. Clyde and say, hey, we want to be a part of your establishment. You got to make them believe in you.
Yes.
You got to believe in them. You got to come and patronize them. You got to come and do what we call economical support.
Yes.
Can you do that? When he have an event, when you come and support,
Right.
can you do that? Yes. Water's here.
I love it.
That's what happens.
I love it.
That's what happened. With that being said, one of the biggest things outside of Alabama, along with what we do in Dallas, 1186 is offered in over 130 HEBs in Texas.
Wow. Look,
And-
I'm giving a standing ovation to it.
So we are one of the first black-owned water bottling companies to be offered in the HEB family.
I love it.
How important that is? So important that in February of 2021, we was part of Be the Change initiative where they took 8 black vendors and highlight them
Wow.
in their stores from a small town in Alabama of Otagoville. Just because God said, hey, you follow me,
Yeah.
follow my will, this is what'll happen.
And this is where we are.
This is where we are. We're on a tour now.
Yeah. So this is the Dallas stop, right?
This is the Dallas stop.
What's next?
The world. The world.
I love it.
The
I
world.
love
The
it.
world is next. What we want people to see is that this is not just a regular water, okay?
Yes.
First of all, it's not ours.
Yeah.
First of all, this water been here before man was even here.
Right.
This water is trapped in an aquifer, underground ocean that we have tapped in the small town of Otagoville.
Right.
This water comes to the surface under its own power. When we bring people to the plant, we take them out and we let them see the water coming out.
Wow.
And so people say, hey, so what do you do to the water? We don't do anything to alter the profile of the water. We bring the water from a well that's on site, several hundred feet underground, with a limestone bedrock
Wow.
that is protected, just protected, hundreds of thousands of years ago. This water comes out. It has the same profile when it comes out of the well. We bring it into a plant. We do not change the profile. We take it through a carbon filter, which polish the water. That's
Wow.
FDA requirement. We take it through a UV light, FDA required. We take it through a 1 micron, 5 micron screen, FDA required. And not only that, we do above what the FDA asks of us. We ozone the water. We ozone the water so that if you decide to leave your bottle of water on the dashboard of your car, it would not grow any type of algae, bacteria, or anything like that.
Wow.
We do that because as a community, we have to take the highest step possible
Yes.
because we're going to be criticized the worst.
So as you were speaking, so like, is there anything added to the water?
Negative. No preservatives, no additives,
Okay.
no chemicals. The only chemical that we have in our facility is maybe Dawn dish detergent, wash the dishes or whatever we may do.
Right.
We don't, no preservatives, no sodium. Look on the back, and listen, FDA required for all manufacturing to put the ingredients on the back of the bottle.
Absolutely.
Look on the back of your bottle.
Right.
If you go get another bottle of water, look on the back of it. They will tell you some water is filtered, some water is purified, and they will tell you that they added magnesium, sodium, and all these other items. And then they got this favorite saying at the very bottom, for taste. Not for health,
Right. For taste.
for taste. So that means they reverse osmosis the water. They mean they took everything out of it, coming out of the tap. They reversed osmosis the water, and they added all these chemicals so that you can be addicted to taste.
Wow.
It don't hydrate. It's just an addiction to taste.
Taste.
1186 come to you highly favored, highly divine,
Yes.
at an average pH of 6.9. It's not alkaline. Don't ask if it's alkaline because whatever you drink, your body is going to make sure that you're between a 6.8 and 7.2 pH
Yes.
before it releases it into the bloodstream.
Got it.
Well, let me tell you this. If you drink a lot of carbonated soft drinks, if you drink a lot of different beverages on the pH scale, when you drink 1186, there's an addictive agent in 1186, and it's called taste, no aftertaste, clean, refreshing,
Yes.
something that your body never had before.
Yes.
You may not agree with me, But tomorrow, when you're looking for it, just remember what I said.
Everybody's like, yes. So let's talk about 1186. How did you come up with the name? I just love it. I love the way it's spelled out. How do we get this name?
I wish I can take credit, but I had nothing to do with it.
Okay.
So the team, when we found out that we had really good water, the quality of the water, some people ask, what the paperwork. We had a lab to test our water on October the 6th, 2016. They tested the water, and the test came back that the water was 10 times better than anything they had on file in the last 35 years.
Wow.
They said, listen. They said, Mr. Forrest, listen, are you sitting down for this? This is liquid gold. You got to figure out how to put it in a bottle. You got to figure out how to compete with the big boys because, sir, you got something. And so we was like, okay, we got something. Mm-hmm. We can't call it liquid gold. Right. And our marketing team was on a conference call one night. It was like, hey, what are we going to name it? I said, well, God hasn't told us yet. They said, well, maybe you need to call and ask him or something. And I was like, so, okay, I'll do that. So one night I was praying, studying, and I had a mock bottle without a label in my hand. And I said, Lord, what are we going to name the water? And I kid you not, the response, how do you study the Bible?
Wow.
That saying just came, just like you and I talking.
Yes.
How do you study the Bible? Mm-hmm. And I was like, give me a cold bottle, how do you study the Bible? I said, okay, I know you don't work like that, God.
Right.
I study the Bible one chapter at a time.
Yes.
Give me a cold bottle one chapter at a time.
No.
Oh, I got it. Al, how many chapters in the Bible? 1,186. 1186.
I love it.
I went to the team the next day and I said, hey guys, 1186.
One chapter at a time.
One chapter at a time.
Just the way we live our life, right?
One chapter at a time. Now, 1186, we end up spelling out the 11 because, we had 1186. Mm-hmm. Somebody could say 1,186, 1186.
Right.
So our COO, Kevin Brickhouse, he was like, hey, let's spell out 1186. I said, I have no problem with that. But I'm a Bible person. Mm-hmm. I love studying the Bible. A couple nights later, I found out, I was like, I never heard 1186 in the Bible.
Yeah.
And I started searching and I manually counted. Uh-huh. And it's 1,189 chapters in the Bible. So here it is. When you think you made a mistake, God don't make mistakes.
Absolutely.
And so the team was like, hey, we don't like the way that sounds. 1189. We already country enough. Let's not country it anymore. And so I was in a tug of war with that. And in 1 Corinthians chapter 12, Paul says that the Spirit gives man 9 gifts. Listen to that. The Spirit gives man 9 gifts. Uh-huh. On the 6th day, God made man.
Yes.
What better gift to give man than 1186?
I love it.
We ain't never turned around.
I love it.
We never left.
I love it.
1186 was born and we was gone.
Are you planning on just sticking with water? Are you planning on going to something else and expanding, or?
They said you can live 3 minutes without air. three days without water.
Yes.
3 weeks without food. We have so many directions for 1186 because we know that water is a foundation to life.
Absolutely.
Within those 3s, you got air, water, and food.
Yes.
We're dealing with water.
Yes.
Less than 5 years from now, water will be more valuable than oil. And people are going to be searching for good water.
I believe it.
We got ultra premium water.
Yes.
So if it's something that can be done with ultra premium water and God lead us down that path, 1186, if you need ultra premium water to wash your windows, 1186 is going to be there. We want it to be there because you got to understand we're in the process of revitalizing a small town.
Yes.
The biggest thing for us is this. 1186 has changed the dynamics of a community. Wow. This community don't have to drive 45 minutes to go get a job making $9 an hour.
Wow.
They don't have to spend an hour and a half every day driving to a job to make $9 an hour. And by the time they get through paying for costs and transportation, they really only make it $7 an hour.
Wow.
Half of our employees walk to work.
I love it.
They can. And I know we're doing good. I know they're doing good because we got a parking lot full of new cars. Right. And I told them, I said, you don't even need to drive. And you're buying new cars.
You can walk to work.
You can walk to work. One of the gentlemen do walk to work. I'm telling you, he lives exactly like 2 minutes away from the job. Right. And I can't get them to quit. They won't quit. They don't. They were like, hey, this is the job right here because we don't have to. We can support our town. And 1186 is becoming a domino. It's becoming a catalyst for people that left to come back.
That's great.
To come back.
That's great. I think someone had a question. Okay, if you'll just stand
Please
and
stand.
ask your question.
Hello. My question is, what is an artesian well?
Oh, that's-
How is it formulated? How do you get access to it?
That is a great question. You want to repeat it?
Yes, so the question was, what is an artesian well? Like, how is it formulated and what makes it an artesian well?
That is a very good question. So even in Texas, there's aquifers. Aquifers are underground oceans. Underground oceans of water, just like oil. Hundreds of million years ago, how did oil form? Oil formed by ferns and large trees being trapped from a flood. A flood trapped these ferns, and these ferns began to break down and made oil. Same way with water. Water has been trapped before they start making irrigation system and dams to help do flood control. Water was just piled up and it was trapped underground.
Wow.
And as it flooded, you had one layer on top of each other. So this earth is hundreds of thousands of feet deep, and this water is trapped. So if you can find a pocket of water, the water that we have, the lab said has no fossil form in it. Nothing been in it before.
Wow.
When they tested, they said there's nothing has ever been in this water.
Wow.
So here it is. This pocket of water, which is called an aquifer, is an ocean of water that is under the ground, under the surface, beneath us in Otagoville. Now, with that being said, this aquifer has about 110 trillion gallons of water in it.
Wow.
In reference to a geology report. Now, you may not understand how much water that is, but I'm going to tell you. Our aquifer, our well runs 60 gallons per minute. Free flow. The water comes from the ground to the surface on its own power. If we lose power, the well still flows. It flows like an oil coming up out of the ground. We have hit a oil field, which is water underground. And it's clear turbidity. It has no particles in it, no contamination. And so what happened, the water comes to the surface. And with the water coming to the surface, it's pressurized. So as long as we keep the valve open, the water comes to the surface. You can try to contaminate it, but it's always a positive flow up. So the way the water got there hundreds of thousands of years ago, there was a glacier formation in Otagoville, in the Otagoville area. This glacier was trapped by flood, melted, and created 100 trillion gallons of water in this area that has never been touched. So with that being said, the geology report says that we can run the well 60 gallons a minute, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week,
Wow.
365 days a year, for the next 136 years if it don't rain again. It will produce water.
Wow.
60 gallons of water a minute, that's a lot of water. And it free flows. It free flows.
Another
I hope that
question.
answered your question. I hope that answered your question.
Definitely answer my question. But now my next question is, how do you get access to it without contaminating for it to go from that many feet under into the surface? Is there a tunnel? Is there a tube? Is there, how does it come so clean? And then the whatever you use, how do you make sure that that stays purified, that it doesn't get rusted or have some type of bacteria, or you know what I'm saying?
Gotcha. So can I repeat the question?
Certainly.
So her question is, how do we get access to the aquifer? How do we get access to it without contaminating the whole 9 yards? That is an issue that's going on across America right now. Issue going across America right now with a lot of metropolitan cities is that they have a delivery system problem. Supporting, transporting water from one source to another one by lead pipes is causing a lot of contamination across the United States. Because 50, 60 years ago, this water was transported by lead pipes and chemicals got in and released lead. So now, new age, we use a safe 40 gauge polypropylene pipe that is also BPA free, that does not transmit any type of chemical from the pipe to the well. Not only that, our well driller also developed the well that so that it can be filtered as it's coming to the surface. Not only that, the well is encased in a concrete casing that supports the pipe from moving and will always stay in place. This well is several hundred feet deep and it free flows to the surface. I got a picture on my phone. It's quite remarkable, and I advise you, and you're in Alabama, you need to come and see it.
Wow,
Yep.
that is awesome. Thank you so much. Is there anybody else who has a question? Because I definitely have another.
That's a great question.
That-
I get some good questions sometimes. I don't know if they spying on me or what, or whatever. But those are some great questions because a lot of people don't understand the delivery system. And also, we have a pump in the well. The pump is stainless steel.
Wow.
It's stainless steel. This is not a lead-based pump. It is stainless steel so that we don't have zero contamination.
I think we have another question from the audience.
Sorry, I have a quick question. So I would like to know, I think a few people as well, is like if you want to actually come to a Taco Bell, to the plant, to actually tour the plant, do y'all have anything like that in place where a person can come and actually see how this water is produced?
So we do have, okay, so the question was, do we have any tours set up for people that want to come to
Right,
Ottawa and
right.
check out the facility? Due to COVID, we do private tours, very small,
Awesome.
do small tours. Before COVID, we was doing tours every other day. The students, oh my goodness, the children from school, they just blown away. To see a bottle being blown and to see water coming out of the ground out on its own power. They was like, this dude right here got some magic or something? I'm like, no, but awesome. we do offer some private tours, some VIP tours, where we bring you into town. We bring you into the city of Prattville, which is right 10 minutes west of Montgomery. And we're going to set up some activities where you can come in, and our well is not the only artesian well, it's just the biggest and best. And we can show you what the area is about.
Right.
We can show you what the area is about and why so many people consider the land of good living with great water. And we take you on a tour, and then last but not least, we take you around the last steps that the Lord brought me through Otagoville.
Wow.
And we take the same route where he took me to this plant and said, you're gonna use this. And the guy said, you think you smart enough. And we drive a quarter of a mile and said, God was so smart that we built a 22,500 square foot building. Then we go in and we see people that has never ran a bottling machine before, producing 14,400 bottles an hour. And they look like you, they look like everybody else, and they have never done this before. And you get to see their reaction and hear their story and say, hey, this is a guy that we follow because he did exactly what he said he's gonna do, so we ain't got nothing to say about it.
I love it. I love the story. We have another question.
So, at what point in the growth did you realize, or what made you start to outsource? And when you did you have a team already built, or did you build actually on the wall?
What made us outsource?
Or like to distribute your bottles, not doing it yourself, and to yourself as to have other companies help you and partner with them and grow with them or sign with them. At what point was that you had a team already built, or did you build as
Okay, so I'm gonna repeat the question. The question is, at what point in our operation did we created an outsource for distribution, sales, and all that? We know nothing. Nothing. Listen to this. When we started, our concept of distribution was a U-Haul truck. We did not know anything. We got with Budweiser the first year, and after the first year in 2018, 2019, I guess a light just clicked on. Matter of fact, the distributor for Dallas really clicked the light on for me. Jeff Spann, he's from Otagoville as well. He's here, standing right here. And he was coming to Otagoville. He's from Otagoville, live in Dallas. And he's driving his truck. He would come to Otagoville and pick up so much water and bring back to Dallas to all his colleagues. And I was like, Jeff, why don't you become a distributor? He's like, I don't know anything about that. I don't even have a clue. I said, you're already doing it. And he was like, so it took about 6 months. But really, the distributor here in Dallas was really the first brainchild, because I was like, why we can't take what we're learning from Budweiser and share it, not just with anybody, but people from Otagoville that's living abroad. And then they can share it with other people. Next thing you know, we got a black-owned distributor in Dallas. We got a black-owned distributor in Houston. We got a black-owned distributor in Mississippi. We got a black-owned distributor in Kansas City, Maryland, Minneapolis, Chicago, Connecticut. Las Vegas coming online with a black distributor. Miami's coming online with a black distributor.
Wow. So your question was great, and it's like a segue to mine, because my question is that if someone is interested in being a distributor, like what does one do? Like what's the next, is there opportunity for that?
It is opportunity, but here it is. We have to vet out the situation.
Yes.
I can tell you I can be a space astronaut. But if I ain't got no credentials, if I ain't got no grind about me, if I ain't got no resources, or you're not willing to work on the weekends, you got something to do, or I got an event to go to. Hey, we was out at an event. It was my wife and our anniversary. And she was like, what we gonna do? I said, we selling water. We selling water. That's the commitment.
Right.
That's the commitment.
Right.
If you don't have that commitment, if you don't showcase that commitment, if you can't come and see me,
wow.
if you're not dedicated like that,
yeah.
if you don't believe in the product, if you don't know anything about the product, I have to see all that. We have people call us every day. I want to be a distributor in Florida. I want to be a distributor in Georgia. I want to be a distributor everywhere. And all I have to do is ask a couple key questions.
And
and so they'll walk the straight line. It's like checking somebody for DUI. They'll walk the straight line, and I promise you, a couple questions they'll fall out. They're like, nah, I really don't want to do that.
Right.
I don't want to do that.
Right. So, we're getting to the point where we need to wrap up.
Okay.
But I just want to say I really appreciate everything that you shared. Also, like sponsorships. Like, do you have sponsors? Do you look for sponsors? How does that work if someone is interested in being a sponsor? And at this point, is that something that you even need?
So we have a lot of different ideas and set ways on the table.
Okay.
Like some people say, hey, I want you to sponsor an athlete. You got to understand, when we started, we didn't have no marketing team, no marketing budget really. We had a marketing team, but we didn't have a marketing budget. So our marketing budget was to go out and put water in people's hands. And the money that we get back, the return on investment that we get back, we have to turn our water bottling facility into a complex.
Yes.
So that's another thing about, black companies, black culture. You have to be a visionary. See, a lot of times we think we are successful when we become a business owner. Mm-hmm. No, you're successful when you can sustain business as a business owner.
Yes.
And so with that being said, what we are doing is we're looking 3 years ahead. Mm-hmm. We know that as people begin to digest and consume 1186, we know that we need a plant that's 3 times the size that we have. So the money that's coming in, we are making a compound to make it even bigger and reinvest in ourselves and bring people on board that want that vision and want to be a part of that passion.
I love it.
So that's the sponsorship that we're looking for.
I love it.
Come and build a compound.
I love it.
Don't ask for money up front.
Right.
That'd be foolish. I'm from Alabama. I got a farmer's mentality. What farmer will come and plant a seed and come back tomorrow and say what a crop is?
Right. Absolutely.
Why we do that?
Right.
Why we do that? Hey, I'm gonna introduce you to somebody, now I want to be paid.
Yeah.
It's not crabs in the bucket. It's not holding us back. Why would we do that?
Right.
And that's what we are as a culture. We want to bring something different to the culture, and that's what we are.
I love it. 1186,
1186.
Real artesian water.
Real artesian water.
So this has been great. I will open the floor for one last question if anyone has one. Mr. Ford, you have been wonderful and
Thank you.
So insightful. So this has been so educational, inspiring, just like on so many levels. Is there any other questions? One last question, yes, sir.
For those who may not know the water, the bottle, could you explain to them how we do our bottles as well? A lot of the water is separate from the bottle. We do our own bottle. Can you explain how the bottle is made?
So, Mr. Otis bring something very unique. Honestly, this is a ultra premium bottle. It represents so much. We designed this bottle in-house. Go with me. If you got a bottle, I'm finna show you something. We designed this bottle in-house. At the very top of the bottle, well, not the top of the bottle, let's look at the label. The bottle symbolizes the tree of life.
I love it.
So the tree of life is encircled by a purple ribbon. A purple ribbon in biblical terms mean royalty.
Yes.
And off this purple ribbon is pulling water from the tree of life. That's where the drop of water comes from at the end of the ribbon.
Wow.
In the drop of the ribbon, at the drop of the water, it's falling into a pond, which is that river of life. And if you look real close in the background, there's trees along the side of the banks of this river.
Wow.
This is where we're going to get our substance from. This is what 1186 is going to do for us. It's going to give us substance of life. With that being said, at the very top of the bottle, we took a 1186 tree of life with a ribbon around it, and we
Wow.
embossed 3 areas at the very top of the bottle.
I love it.
Not only that, around the top of around these logos is a wave, 3 waves. And at the very bottom, these ripples at the bottom represent the bark of a tree. There's so many hidden messages and symbolics. Not only that, we designed this in-house.
I love it.
Design it. And not only did we design it well, thank you very much, brother, but look, the label bottle, the label panel is perfect size for you to hold in your hand. Not only that, it's a perfect size to fit into your cup holder. Last but not least, I'm finna do it now. Last but not least, the opening on the bottle is bigger than the straw size from the rest of your bottles. The opening on the bottle gives you perfect consumption that when you drink it, you don't choke, you don't do anything. That comes from our research that you don't need to be too big and you don't need to be too small. You need to be just right in order to digest as much as you can.
Perfect timing. Listen, this has been awesome. This has been awesome. Is there any last words that you would like to leave with us about 1186?
So,
1186 real
last
artesian
word.
water.
If you're not following 1186 on social media platform, you're doing yourself a disservice. If you're not following 1186, 11 spell out 1186Water on all social media platforms, IG, Facebook, Twitter. If you have not visited our website, www.1186water.com, you're doing yourself a disservice. If you have not watched the documentary about liquid gold, you're doing yourself a disservice. I'm telling you this because you are watching an island being built.
Wow.
You're watching an island being built.
Yes.
And you can actually tell somebody, I remember when they were nobody. And you know what? I helped them be somebody.
Wow.
Because I purchased 1186 when they was real small, when we was down in Soiree, when we was doing this. I helped build that company. Tell me another time you're gonna have an opportunity to help build a company of this stature. I plead with you today. The harvest is plentiful. The laborers are few. Come and help us pick. Come and help us pick. We got a question right here. He just can't he can't stop. You got 20 cases of it. So that's what I'm talking about. The harvest is bountiful,
Yes.
but the laborers are few.
I love it.
Come and be a laborer. Come and be a laborer. Watch the harvest grow and pick with us. Pick with us.
I love it. You all, thank you all so much for being here, and to our listening audience, thank you for being here. This is the Good Water Tour, the Dallas stop. We're at the Soiree Coffee Bar here in Dallas with none other than Mr. Marquise Forge.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Awesome, awesome, awesome.